back in 2023, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 released, and it got full critical acclaim, having a brand new roster of 26 playable characters, 14 from the original game, as well as 11 added new, as well as each character having ultimate attacks, or super moves. And in January of this year, I actually talked about all 26 fighters' super moves origins, and today I'll be talking about all 4 DLC. Here we have Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants, Zuko and Iroh from Avatar The Last Airbender, and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So yeah, it's only 4, but I think this will be a very quick one to get through, and some of the origins are pretty easier to talk about. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with Mr. Krabs. For his super move, he ties the opponent up onto a fishing pole and dangles him off a boat, with a giant clam swooping in, eating the opponent. This is a direct reference to the Season 3 episode of SpongeBob Clams, in which after Mr. Krabs takes SpongeBob and Squidward fishing, well, clam fishing, his $1 million actually gets eaten by a giant clam, and he starts to go crazy, prompting him to tie up SpongeBob and Squidward up just so he can get his dollar back from the giant clam. So it is a nice reference, and honestly a very good one at best. We now move on to the Fire Prince, Zuko. For his super move, Sozin's Comet rains down, and as the comet rains down, Zuko's energy builds up, ultimately accumulating in a fiery punch that drags the opponent off a cliff. So, Sozin's Comet is a huge big deal in the Avatar franchise. In the series finale, it's a comet that channels all firebenders' energy into one big power. And it's shown with, obviously, Azula, Ozai, and of course, Zuko. We now move on to Iroh. Now for his super move, he channels in some energy, also I think to Sozin's Comet too, as he takes a few deep breaths and then unleashes some firepower. I tried my best to look at the origin for this, but I could also practically say it's the same thing as Zuko's. If Sozin's Comet rains down, it also gives him enough energy to unleash the power that he has. So yeah, I could definitely say, and this is just personally, the Avatar super moves, especially for the firebenders, are pretty generic. We now move on to one of Shredder's goons, Rocksteady. For his super move, he calls in the Technodrome, and as the Technodrome zooms in and locks onto the opponent, a giant beam from the eye blasts at the opponent. So, the Technodrome is a very, very important vehicle in the TMNT franchise. It's also used as a weapon for the Krang and for the Shredder, and it also has its own stage in the game, which is Technodrome Takedown. So, now that you're wondering, this video was a little too short, but I digress. I will actually be talking about some of the few hiccups that I made during my first video talking about the base roster super moves, and some origins that I kinda got incorrect. So this will be the portion of the video where I actually get to do some makeup homework. So let's get started on this one. So someone in the comments also said for Korra's super move was actually a direct reference to the Book 2 finale in her show. And I tried to watch some clips to see if it was something similar to that, and I guess the closest that I could see, well, it wasn't from the Book 2 finale, but it was in that same season, was in the episode Peacekeepers, where I guess she was fighting against this giant monster, and one of the moves in her super moves was kind of similar to how she was trying to face off against that monster. I also got comments about how April's super move was actually a reference to her 2012 incarnation, in which that version of the character actually has psychic capabilities, which I'm guessing that could be a nice reference. But this game is representing the 87 Turtles, not the 2012 Turtles. It would have been cool if they did something similar to Zelda in Ultimate, where each character from the franchise represents a different incarnation. If so, that would have been cool to have 2012 April and not 87 April. But then again, I'm still calling it an original super move. In the original video, I stated that Zim's super move was original, and that was incorrect, and I apologize for that. His super move is an actual direct reference to his movie Enter the Florpus, where Mini Moves does indeed do that same exact thing that he does with Zim's super move, except that he doesn't blow up the earth, he actually transports it right where the tallest are. And funny enough, I actually watched that movie again this year, so I got the reference there. And now for Ren and Stimpy. I actually got most of their super move origin correct, except for the part that I said that Ren blows up Florida, which was entirely not true, in which he actually blows up Australia instead. So I did get that hiccup fixed. Overall, this is still a fun game, and I'll be honest, while my game has a lot of soft logs, or my copy does, I still enjoy playing this game. It has a nice roster of characters, a lot of fun game modes to try out, and a fun online mode whenever it not tries to be glitchy. And yeah, I definitely do have fun with it. I'm kind of unsure if we'll ever get a third installment, especially how most of the dev team is gone. But I really do hope that Game Mill Entertainment saw what everyone else in the community saw in this game, as well as what the devs saw in this game. I really do hope that even if it isn't a third Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, maybe they might try out with other, companies. Maybe we might get a DreamWorks platform fighter or a DreamWorks fighting game overall. Either way, I'm very curious on what the future is for this franchise. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. Share and subscribe. And this is OG Diesel, signing out.